Good morning. My name is Josh Reichert. I serve as the Wilderness Camp Director at Spruce Lake, but I also get the opportunity of serving as one of our outdoor ed teachers in our outdoor education program with Christian schools. Myself and others have been talking about what are ways in which we can reach out to our community. What can we do to help them, and then also just to allow them to experience the beauty of what we've been given. One way we've decided to do that is every Wednesday afternoon, we're going to post a video of a nature talk. Some days it might be like today, where it's going to be in our nature center where we talk about one of our animals. Some days it might be outside on one of our trails or looking at some trees or something outside in the creation that God has blessed us with. So please look forward to these Wednesday things. We also, along with the video, will be posting some resources. For today, it's going to be a coloring page. For some days, it could be a quiz or an interactive bingo that you and your family could play. We hope that you guys enjoy these videos and that it gives you an opportunity to remember and think about Spruce Lake and these times that we're living in while you're at home together as a family. Now today, like I said, we're going to be in the Nature Center. We're going to look at one of our animals that you have maybe seen if you've come here during the summer or the rest of the year. Today, we're going to look at our bearded dragon. His name is Levi. Now, let us know in the chat below if you know what Levi is short for, because that is not his full name. That's just what we call him. It's a lot easier to remember. So this is Levi. He's an adult bearded dragon. We've had him for a couple years. When we got him, he was a baby and he was only about that big, and he grew very quickly. Now, bearded dragons, their life expectancy is around 10 years. So he'll be with us for a little bit longer, but he's been a great animal for us in class to look at and for us to talk about with our students. Now, Levi is not something that you'd find in the US outside. Lots of people have him as pets, but they would not have a bearded dragon out in the woods that you wouldn't find. He's actually native to Australia. So he likes much warmer climates than we would have in Pennsylvania or even most of the US. Now, one thing that's unique about Levi and all reptiles is they're cold-blooded. Now, if you don't know what cold-blooded means, it basically means their temperature is regulated by the atmosphere around them. And so in his cage, it might be like 95, 100 degrees, and that means his temperature is at 95, 100 degrees. If it gets cold, he would get cold. And that's why they can't really survive in Pennsylvania weather outside. You and I, we are not cold-blooded. We are considered warm-blooded because we're mammals. And warm-blooded means that your body is a consistent temperature. No matter the atmosphere around us, what's changing, our body doesn't really change with that. So that's one cool, unique thing that makes us very different than reptiles. One thing that we have in common with Levi, and this isn't true of all reptiles, but it is of bearded dragons, that they're omnivores. What that means is he will eat both plants and like other animals or meat. Just like you and I, we like to have both plants and meat. Some people choose to be different. But for bearded dragons, they need both in their diet to be healthy. Now, what we feed Levi is a mix of the two. So we give him different types of salads and greens, sometimes kale, but he also likes to eat different fruits. Sometimes during the summer, if we can find strawberries or dandelions, he'll eat those as well. As far as the meat side goes, we'll feed him crickets, mealworms, superworms, and then we also house and raise our own cockroaches to feed him and then our other animals in the nature center. Now, as you look at him, you'll notice he's very brightly colored, mostly up on his body. His tail's not quite as bright. And that's because he's considered a citrus morph. And what that means is people have bred bearded dragons so that they would get certain colors. And this color is called citrus. And so it's got little yellows, oranges, kind of reds. Sometimes you could find ones that would be even brighter than Levi. Sometimes you'd find ones that are more orange or more yellow. But he's considered a citrus. So he's unique. He's not something you would find in the wild necessarily, because he would stick out and not blend in as well and not have good camouflage. Now, what's neat is recently we were gifted another bearded dragon. Her name is Emma, and so we'll get her out, and what we want to look at is how different she looks from Levi. Now, she's a lot smaller than Levi. We're not sure how old she is, because again, she was given to us, we don't know. Whoever had her was not able to take care of her and asked if we would take care of her, and so we have a new home for her in the Nature Center. Now, she is what would be considered a normal, which basically means what you would find in the wild. So you'll notice she's a lot less bright, more muted colors, but you can imagine in like a deserty climate like Australia, where she would blend in really well and you wouldn't see her, so she could hide from predators. Now, earlier we mentioned about them being omnivores and that they like to eat lettuce in different salads. So we'll see if she's hungry. She wants to eat for us. There you go. Fortunately, her and Levi really enjoy eating their lettuce, and we actually try to feed them more vegetation than we do the meat side. So it's probably about 70% of vegetable stuff and then 30% of other protein. Now, as we talked about this, it's kind of unique to think about how God has created each of these bearded dragons. Besides their colors, everything else about them is very similar, but they look very different. They're unique in the way they were designed. And like I said before, you could find bearded dragons that look all kinds of different colors. And that's true of a lot of other animals. And I think it's neat to think about how God has done that, how he's made each of these unique and different, but yet similar. And I want us to think a little bit about how that's true of each of us. Maybe you have friends who are faster than you, or maybe you have friends that are taller than you and you wish you could be as tall as them or as fast as them. Maybe you have friends that have different gifts that you wish you had. Maybe they're better at soccer than you, or you would like to be better at math. We all have those things that we're kind of like, I wish I could do this. But we also need to remember we're different in other ways. I'm sure each of you has gifts that God's given you that other people don't have, that make you unique, just like these bearded dragons are unique. I want to take a moment to read a verse to you that talks a little bit about the idea of this uniqueness and how God has made us each uniquely different and for a reason and for a purpose. So the verse we're going to read today is from Psalms 139, 13 to 14. For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. And I think this is a neat verse for us to think about because it talks about how God created us all to make us unique before we were even born. And so that means when we were born and we came into this world, we were the way we were for a reason and a purpose. God made us that way. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a mistake. And so my challenge to each of you, as you watch this video and you think about these animals and you think about yourself, is to remember that God made you unique. And sometimes when you get frustrated about things maybe that you're not good at or you wish you could be better at, to remember that God has also given you gifts that make you that unique person that you are. And so I hope that you can think about that. And as you think about your day, look for those unique things and thank God for that. Thank God for the gifts he's given each of you. So as we finish up, I just want you to think about that and talk about that with your families and maybe think of what gifts do you have that make you different than maybe even your family members at home. Remember, every Wednesday afternoon, we're going to be posting these videos. So we hope that you and your family can enjoy them, can watch them together, and you can also use the activities that we've given along with you as just a way for you to remember Spruce Lake and experience the beauty and the amazing things that we have here to offer. We hope to see you this summer, and we're very excited for what God has in store for us. We hope you have a great day, and we'll be praying for you and your family. See you later.